You want me to do?
Hey guys, this is Team Financial Fitness, and we are going through an inspection period on one of our rental properties that we are selling. And I'm going to let my wife walk you through the emotional things and problems that you have that you're going to need to get through as a rental property owner and as a just somebody selling a house. So what do you have to say? This is an emotional time for people that are selling a house because you're going to receive a book of things that you didn't even know was wrong with your house, and you're going to have to fix them or not fix them. Go through it with me.
It is. The inspection period is probably one of the most emotional periods when purchasing or selling a home. One on the buyer side, because they receive a book that the inspector brings to them and says, this is all the things that are wrong. And one on the seller side going, oh my goodness, do I have to fix all of this stuff? And how much is it going to cost? And that's where, as a good real estate agent, or even as rental property owners, when we go to where we're selling one of our properties right now, that's when you have to learn to navigate through an inspection. And one of the biggest things I can tell you, go ahead. You want to say
That's where
something?
the deals fall through.
They do. That is where people's emotions get so high. Things get taken misconstrued, and literally you will have people walk during that. In Louisiana, we have 10 days. So you can walk during that inspection period, and if you do not handle this correctly, you will have buyers and sellers completely walk away. But here's one of the biggest things. So just take emotions out of it. That's what I tell my buyers and my sellers. I'm like, just take emotions out. Buyers, this is a house. It's built in XYZ. Sellers, let's do cost analysis. So let's look at it from a rental perspective, because that's what we're doing right now. We're selling a rental property, and we're going to go, all right, this is the price that they have offered us. Are there any closing costs that we're going to have to pay? And now let's look at the inspection. What is it going to cost us to do all these repairs? And if you have to ask for an extension for that inspection response, don't be scared to ask for it. Do your due diligence. Do your research. Do not say you will sign anything until you have somewhat of a quote idea of how much you think it's going to cost. Because there's been times that we thought something was going to cost something, and
It's usually me. I'm very optimistic.
yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. I'm like, I go over the thing. For example, right now we've got a foundation that we've got to fix.
And this is in life. You're gonna have a lot of emotional, crazy
Yes.
times, and selling a house is one of them.
It is.
It's right up there with getting married, and you only do it so many times in life, and there's so many things that happen, and this is one of them. They
It
give
is.
you that book of all the stuff you didn't know about, and you thought you were going to make some money on your house, and now they're asking for $20,000 worth of stuff. Well, the best thing to do, what I do, is I just take a deep breath and I scroll through it. Most of it's debris on top of the house, missing covers on the outlets, little stuff, because the inspectors, we need them. They're a pain in the butt sometimes, but it's okay. You just got to get through the process because they're looking out for the buyers, just like you would want somebody to look after you if you were buying. So it's a process that needs to happen. Just welcome it and deal with it, and you don't have to fix everything. You can say no. They're going to write everything up in the book if you let them.
Well, that's their job. Their job is to go in and to protect the seller. Actually, the sellers think it's a bad thing, but they go in and they protect the seller, and they try to find everything possibly wrong with the house so the buyer knows what they're getting into. But as a seller, you just have to remove your emotions and just really do a cost analysis and go, yes, I will fix this. No, I will not fix this. And the things that you know are going to hit with an appraisal, because there's some things, for like the example, the foundation. Most appraisers are going to ding your foundation issues. So just go ahead and fix it. Just get that out of the way. Factor that into the cost and just move on. And that if you do a cost analysis, you know what you're getting into. You know what your profits are going to be. You're not surprised at the end, and that's the best advice I can give you.
That's a really good point. If you're going to sell a house, sit down like it's a business deal.
Yes, it is.
And it is for us. We're doing rental property. But even if it's your personal home, sit down and say,
Yep.
What do the numbers look like? Let's do it. Write down everything. Do it on paper. How are you going to come out? The only thing that's going to hurt is nothing. It's only upside from there because numbers don't lie. And that's the way I get through life because I'm scattered. I have to put it on paper in front of me and run the numbers, and that number that spits out is what I do. So at the end of the inspection period, what?
Well, that's it. Pretty much once you do the inspection period, then you move on to the appraisal. I think that's also a misconception, and we can talk about that later.
This is a gray area for me.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that they get a misconception that the appraisal period is the same as the inspection. That is two totally different aspects. The inspection period is done by the buyer. It is in the buyer's ballpark field. It is only on the buyer. The seller has absolutely nothing to do with it. Matter of fact, it's in Louisiana. In the contract, it clearly states the seller doesn't have to fix a thing when it comes to the inspection period, but a lot of times the sellers do it to make the deal work. You keep moving forward. However, the appraisal period, that's a whole nother step. That's after the inspection's done. Then you go to the bank orders an appraisal, and that's a whole nother ballgame, and there may be repairs done on that also. If you get to an appraisal period and you have an inspection or you have a repair, you have no choice but to fix it. During the inspection period, though, you do have negotiations. And I think a lot of my buyers and sellers, they don't realize that that's two separate periods.
When you have an inspection, you've got some negotiations.
You do. It's completely negotiation.
The appraisal, you've got to do what they say.
Yeah, the appraisal, you have to do what they say. When the appraisal
That's
comes
important.
back, yep, and they say, hey, there's rotting wood or the roof has to be, and we've had that before. Roof has to be fixed. You have to do that for the buyer to get the loan. There is no other way out of it. Yep. So this is good information that people, my buyers and sellers all the time, I do free consultations. They do not understand this. And so as rental property people, we put this to all this advice to use,
Absolutely.
and it makes it much easier for us.
And it's going to make it easier for you. Because inspectors are needed.
Yes.
Unless they're welding inspectors. I'm joking. Not really.
Okay, go ahead. You can hack on them.
They're good for parking in the way. No, not really. They're good guys, too. Everybody needs to be inspected and held accountable. But this is some simple, fast, quick tips that'll get you through your house inspection, that'll get it sold, and you won't have to worry and fret. I hope y'all have an awesome day. This is Financial Fitness. I will see you tomorrow.